All right, let's get right to it. If you're an Nvidea user, you're gonna want to listen up. We've got an urgent warning about the latest driver update, version 591.44. Now, normally, an update is good news, right? But this one, well, this one's a complete disaster, and it's sending some serious shockwaves through the community.
So, the big question on everyone's mind is, should you update? You see that little notification pop up in the corner of your screen, your finger is hovering over install, what do you do? Well, let me make this really simple for you. The short answer, no. An absolute resounding no. And trust me, you're going to want to stick around for the next few minutes while we break down exactly why you need to steer clear of this update.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. This is not just a few little bugs we're talking about here. The community, people out there, they're calling this driver, 591.44, one of the absolute worst updates they have seen in a long time. And it's especially brutal if you're running anything from Asus, or if you're a big fan of Battlefield or Counter-Strike 2.
I mean, just take a look at the forums. The official Nvidia forums, Reddit, you name it. They are absolutely on fire right now with warnings. It's just a sea of red flags. This isn't one or two people having a bad day. This is a massive, widespread problem, and users are, well, to put it mildly, they are furious.
All right, first up, let's talk about what this means for gaming. Because if you're a gamer, this update is a certified nightmare, especially for Battlefield and CS2 players.
So check this out. This really paints the picture. Gamers were actually looking forward to this update. They were hoping it would finally fix the stability issues in Battlefield 6, particularly for the shiny new RTX 50 series cards. But what happened? The exact opposite. It didn't just not fix the problems, it completely broke DLSS. Can you believe that? People with these top-of-the-line cards can't even turn on one of Nvidia's flagship features. They're actually being forced to use AMD's FSR just to get the game running.
And it's not just DLSS. For anyone who shelled out the big bucks for a 5090 or a 5080, it's like buying a supercar and having it stall at every traffic light. Instead of making things more stable, this driver made them less stable. We're talking constant reports of black screens, PCs just restarting out of the blue, and that dreaded bug check 133 error popping up. The update literally did the exact opposite of its job.
Okay, and if you thought that was bad, let's talk about Counter-Strike 2. This update is a full-blown catastrophe for CS2 players. The game's colors are all washed out and gray. The text is so distorted and blurry you can barely read it. And worst of all, it's making it incredibly hard to actually see your enemies. People are saying it's pretty much unplayable.
But wait, because it actually gets worse. If the gaming issues weren't enough, this driver seems to have a personal vendetta against anyone with Asus hardware. Seriously, if you have an Asus motherboard or graphics card, this update isn't just bad. It's a complete and total disaster. People are calling it the arch enemy of Asus components, and for good reason.
So what's the deal? Well, the core of the problem is that all the essential Asus software just stopped working. We're talking about the big ones, Armory Crate, for all your system controls, GPU Tweak 3 for overclocking, and Aura Sync for all your RGB lighting. After this update, they either won't even launch or they just plain don't recognize the hardware.
And check out this quote from a user on the forums. It perfectly sums up how bizarre this whole thing is. They said, "The driver broke everything related to Asus. My Armory Crate is working, but the card has disappeared." Think about that. The software opens, but the graphics card it's supposed to control is just gone, invisible. It's infuriating.
And just let that sink in for a second. People have spent thousands of dollars on these premium, top-tier cards, like the RTX 5090 Astral, only to have a software update completely cripple them. They've lost all control. Can't change the lighting, can't overclock, can't even set their own fan speeds. All that control, gone, because of one bad driver. It's honestly a slap in the face.
Okay, so after all that doom and gloom, you're probably asking, what do I do? Well, the good news is there is a solution. There's a clear path forward here, whether you've already installed this mess or, fingers crossed, you've managed to avoid it so far.
First things first, if you have not updated yet, my advice is simple. Do not install 591.44. Just don't do it. Stick with a stable older version. The ones getting recommended a lot are 581.80 or 581.42. Think of those as your safe zone right now.
Okay, now what if you already clicked install? What if you've already taken the plunge? First, don't panic. You are definitely not alone, and this is fixable. The only real solution here is to roll back your driver. You have to get this version off your system and go back to an older, stable one. And here's the best way to do that safely. The go-to tool for this is a program called Display Driver Uninstaller, or DDU.
It's what everyone recommends. So step 1, download DDU. Step 2, you're going to restart your PC, but into safe mode. Step 3, run DDU. It'll completely nuke every last trace of that faulty driver. And finally, step 4, restart your PC normally and then do a fresh, clean install of a stable driver, like that 581.80 we mentioned. This whole process makes sure no garbage files are left behind to cause problems.
So what's the big takeaway from this whole mess? Well, the community has kind of landed on this powerful metaphor to describe what it feels like to update Nvidia drivers right now, and honestly, it hits the nail on the head.
And here it is. The community verdict is that Nvidia updates have become like a game of roulette. Every time you click install, you're spinning the wheel, and you have no idea if you're going to land on a win, a nice performance boost, or a total loss that breaks your whole system. That old feeling of trust where a new driver number always meant something better, that's pretty much shattered right now.
And that leaves us with one last big question to chew on. Is this just a one-off, a really bad mistake? Or are we moving into a new era where blindly trusting and instantly installing updates is just not a smart move anymore? Maybe the new normal should be to wait a few days, see what the community says, and only update when you know for sure that the coast is clear. It's definitely something to think about.